Hello, welcome to Greenwood Bonsai Studio today. I want to show you a progression, some photographs and images of this tree that's next to me here. This is one that's recently come into my personal collection, Cedar of Lebanon, and I'm going to be working on it over the next few days. I'm going to take it away with me for Christmas and do some work on it, and thought we'd show you what it started out like before I start doing the restyling on it. This tree I've known for a number of years. It's about 40 years old. It was owned and grown by a member of Northampton Bonsai Society, and the tree was started in 1972. He purchased it in 1989, and when I bought it, I've been given quite a range of photographs of it through the years. So it's like getting a car with some service history. I've got some service history with this tree. So when he bought it in 1989, this is a photograph of what it looked like when he first bought it. And you can see it was just young nursery stock material, about 14, 15 years old at this sort of point. And then he trimmed it and initially styled it, and it looked like it did in this second image here. It's still in its nursery pot. And then after it came out of that nursery pot, it went into a bonsai pot, just a oval bonsai pot, a training pot, and he'd done some additional wiring on the apex of the tree. A few years later, it's just started to fill out a little bit more, as you can see, and it's gone into an oval, unglazed bonsai pot. The next photograph was a few years after that, and it's gone a slightly deeper, larger bonsai pot, a bit more refinement on the branches. And then it was sold to a new owner, and the new owner is a friend of mine, and a few years ago he asked me to go down and help him style it. I do quite a lot of work with cedars, and I'd recently done one of my cedars, and he'd seen me do that. So I went down and restyled it, and there's a photograph of what it looked like once I styled it. And at this point it was in a rectangle bonsai pot. And then after styling, here it is again in a different rectangle bonsai pot with a little bit more size and depth to it. And then in subsequent years, I probably styled this tree, it's probably about 7 or 8 years ago that I styled it. And then after that, it went into an oval bonsai pot, which is the pot you can see it in this photograph, and it's the pot it is now currently in. So that brings us up to speed with this tree up to today, and you can see now the owner that had it, that I styled it for, the tree's getting quite big for him to manage to move around, so he decided he'd offer it for sale, and I said I was interested in buying it because I worked on it, and I was impressed by the tree when I worked on it the first time. And it's ready for repotting. Look, you can see it's quite vigorous, it's pushed itself out of this pot, and it really suits a rectangle bonsai pot. You know, this is a very formal tree. You know, it is the sort of stereotypical formal upright evergreen bonsai. So I bought a rectangle pot to put it into. We're going to show you that in another video, because it's the wrong time of year to do that. But what is a good time of year to do work on these trees at the moment is it wants all the old needles taken off it. It wants some of this new growth taken back here, and it wants thinning out because it's got a little bit too bushy. And although it's quite refined, some of these lower branches will start to drop a few needles because they're being quite overshadowed by these ones above them. So over the next few days, sort of between Christmas and New Year, I've got a little bit of time off, and I'm going to take this tree to work on, and then we're going to come back in the new year, and I'm going to show you what it looks like once I've hopefully had time to trim it, style it, and put some wire on it. So just sort of bring you up to modern day with this. It's really great when you're working on a tree like this that's got some history to it. You know, I would advise all of you, if you've got a bonsai, you've got some bonsai in your collection, try and take photographs of them on a yearly basis as a minimum. There's nothing better than having a tree like this and looking back to see where it came from, how it's developed over time, any challenges you've overcome with it, the ups and downs of the tree's life, and how it's progressed and how it's built and refined into what is now in front of us here. And then this is now going to go onward for the next section of styling and progression on this beautiful cedar.